Corporations are a business model that emerged actually in the pre-Civil War era, but really take off in the post-Civil War, post-Reconstruction time period. Um, Corporations are a business model that allows people to share parts of a company by purchasing stock. There are several important things about a corporation and why somebody would do this. First of all, the corporation has limited liability, meaning that if the business fails, the owner doesn't lose all of the personal property, only what was invested in the company. There's other bonuses, there's other benefits to a corporation. They have personhood rights, they have free speech rights, they have perpetual life, which means if one owner dies, the business still goes on, they just find a new owner. The main benefit to a corporation, though, is that they can sell stock to make massive amounts of revenue very quickly. So corporations have a lot of wealth at their disposal. And in the post-Civil War era, corporations were able to merge together to form even bigger corporations. And they were doing so in an attempt to create a monopoly. A monopoly, oftentimes called a trust, is where you try to eliminate competition. So it's actually anti-capitalist because capitalism believes in competition to keep prices down and help the consumer. So corporations want to remove competition so that they can control prices and make even bigger profits. During this post-Civil War era in the Gilded Age, corporations became so large that they began to impact the economy. If a large business failed, the economy would go into a depression. They were so big that they influenced politics through massive donations to campaigns now in the modern era, but at the time through just outright giving of money to candidates. And they would in fact impact the policy or decisions that were made by the government. Sometimes this was bribery, sometimes this was just the government realizing that they needed to help a certain corporation out. By and large, what happens is that the critics of corporations began to speak loudly towards the end of this Gilded Age in the 1890s, going into the 1900s, and they began to call for workers' rights, and we'll see that with labor unions, and they began to call for consumer rights in an effort to create more regulations, either to break up monopolies or to just make sure that the monopolies that existed were going to treat their workers fairly.